You're watching your favorite movie. You're enjoying the hell out of it. While watching it, you see people and buildings and a lot of shit happens. But at the end of the day, you know it's not actually real. That's not your reality. Well, that's basically what this life is. It's a damn movie. What are we really? We're light. Everything you perceive through your vision, it's all light. You may see wood or spaghetti, or maybe you just witnessed someone vomit. It's all light. These bodies are just vessels, pretty much like Avatar. We are immortal, multi-dimensional beings perceiving everything in a three-dimensional world. Time and space don't exist. Think about it this way. Not a damn thing has actually changed. All that's changed is buildings look different than 200 years ago. Transportation has changed. The way we function on a daily basis has changed significantly. That's literally it. But the Earth is still here, just doing its thing. All time really is just a measurement of change. Space is just a measurement of change. Ever wonder why time passes so fast when you're having fun, but passes slowly when you pay attention to it? Because it's not an actual fucking thing. That's just how we grow up. So we perceive time to actually exist, but it doesn't. Ever wonder why certain music makes you feel certain emotions? Or being around certain kinds of people gives you weird vibes? That's energy. It's not just instinct. That's your higher self communicating with you. But we never learn this, so we grow up just thinking it's a coincidence. There is no such thing as a coincidence. Your thoughts become your reality, so of course you're gonna have a shitty day if you don't have it in your mind that you're gonna have a fantastic fucking day. Our true goal here is to remember who we are and awaken others as well, so all our vibrations can be as high as possible, and the Earth will be the way it should be. But that's also why we go through bullshit. That pain is to be used as a lesson so you can grow. You felt tremendous pain, it sucked ass. But you overcame it, you grew, and now you want others to feel that light you feel shining inside of you. Everyone we meet, short or long term, we meet for a reason. Nothing is random. Your higher self is literally always trying to communicate with you. You just need to get your head out of your own ass and pay the fuck attention. Not trying to seem condescending, so I apologize if I'm coming off that way. But god damn it, people, wake the fuck up. You seriously can't think there's more to life than the senseless bullshit they're feeding you. Whether or not you agree, we are all connected. We are all literally one. The smallest thing you do can affect someone. That's why positive energy needs to be spread. So it's not a simulation, it's basically a dream. The vast majority of people perceive this world in 3D. The goal is to get to 5D, which is unconditional love. According to the ancient Sanskrit writings, the Vedas, we are all in a world of illusion called Maya, or that which is not. We can only get out of it when we realize we are not the temporary material body, but the eternal soul. That is the great blessing and real purpose of the human form of life. Yes, we are living in a simulation. It's not computer-generated in the common sense of a computer, but it is generated and we are in it. Just like a computer game mimics the real world, our universe mimics another universe, but it is like a shadow. It exists and has its own realness, but it is not reality. It is not an illusion in itself, but to think that it is reality, that is an illusion. In poor light, we may take one object to be another. Say a rope on the ground looks like a snake. The rope is real, but the snake that we see is illusory, but it is not non-existent. It is not a snake but a rope, and due to imperfect senses and poor light, we take the rope to be a snake. This universe is real, but it is not reality, just as a computer-generated image is real in the sense that it exists, and we can see it on a monitor. But it is not real because it exists only in the computer displayed as a certain arrangement of lights on a screen. Our experiences of life are not real because they are temporary. Our happiness and distress come and go like the seasons. They do not stay with us, so they are not real in the ultimate sense. Only that which exists eternally can be said to be true. Everything else is in transition. It is created, it stays for a bit, and then disappears. Now you see it, now you don't. Only something that can be observed eternally is real. That's why even though dreams exist and we experience them, we don't call them real. They end when we wake up, so we know they aren't real. Our living entities are real, but the setting that we are in is not reality. It is a creation of material nature, and by the laws and interactions of nature, the material aspects of the universe are manifest, maintained, and dissolved. The living entity is inserted into this mix and receives a body at the hands of a material nature. That is our assumed identity or character, and then we go through the game of life, absorbed in the game and seldom wondering what is behind it. At the end of each life, we respawn in another setting as another character with different skills, powers, and abilities, and we play out that identity and then move on to another and another and another. This is called samsara in Sanskrit. There are many fixed parameters in the game, and they cannot be violated. But there is also room to move around within the parameters, but it is all controlled by the code of the three modes of nature. If you play the game as designed, you keep moving forward, but you are free to wander aimlessly collecting all the unlimited collectibles instead. The other players in the game are also real, but they are acting according to their avatar characters, which are temporary creations, so not reality. Some will be on your side and some will be against you. Most will be irrelevant. There are ways to get extra powers and ways to get help as you play, but essentially everyone flies their own plane, even if they are aided by ground control. What's the point of it? Well, like any game, to have fun, of course. And like many games, you can lose and suffer setbacks and frustrations and have everything taken away from you at some point, even if you play exactly as the game is designed to be played. We can play forever. There is no time limit. But if we get sick of it and want to leave and go back to the real world where we can taste food and touch objects, it can be done by gradually disengaging from the game with the help of someone who, although inside the game, is not part of it. It's not as easy as hitting exit to desktop, but it's certainly doable and worth the effort. The first step is to distinguish between real and reality. A movie is real because we can experience it and be moved by it, but it is not reality because it's a movie. The world is real because we can experience it, but it is not reality. There is a different dimension that exists, which is reality. Just as there is another dimension outside the cinema hall that is what we call reality. For 2 hours or so, we enter the cinema hall and surrender to the movie. We experience different things as we watch the movie and forget the outside world. We laugh, shiver, rejoice, cringe, etc. during the movie, and then it is over, and all we have are the memories. There is nothing else that we take out of the cinema hall. Now, the film is real because we saw it, the actors are real, and the drama and tension are real because we felt it. But in the end, we walk away from it with only memories. It was all an illusion, just arrangements of lights on a screen and some sound vibrations. But it was real. The illusion is that we thought it was reality while we watched it. We thought the person was in danger or killed or in love or whatever. If we don't surrender to the story, there is no point in going to see it. We have to be willing to believe it is reality even though we know it's not. If we are not willing to believe the story, it's no fun. That is the illusion that we willingly accept. So the material world is like a cinema hall, and we are surrendered to the story because if we aren't, then it's no fun. Actually, Maya is such a good director that we have no choice. We think it's all reality without ever questioning it. We take for granted that the objects our senses contact are real. If we can see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, and hear it, then we are confident it is real. This certainly is an understanding of the real, but only from our limited perspective. Physical things are real, but their form is temporary. So while the substance is real, the form is not. A house is made of real ingredients, but the existence of the house is temporary. We see it as lasting a long time, but it is constantly changing due to time. At every second, it is getting older, and in due course of time, it will cease to exist as a house. But the ingredients will continue to exist. Imagine a potter with a lump of clay on his wheel. As you watch, he makes a vase by pulling up the clay. Then immediately he turns it into a bowl, then a plate, then a cup, then something else. The clay is real, but all the forms and shapes that he makes are not real. They are constantly changing from one shape to another as the wheel turns and he works the clay with his hands. We give names to the different shapes because it's easier to say a plate than saying a lump of clay that temporarily spreads 10 inches across with a slight depression in the middle and a rim, all of which is changing into something else as I speak. Now, the whole material world is like a lump of clay because it is always being transformed by time. The matter and energy of the universe are constant. They are real, but the forms are always in a state of change because they are always getting older. For many things, we don't notice it because we see time pass by slowly, but sometimes a video clip is shown speeded up. If we could do that for a whole civilization, we would see the civilization rise, expand, stay, and then disappear. All the materials used would still exist in some form, but the civilization would have appeared and then disappeared, so it is like a dream. Only that which is eternal can be said to be true. Everything else is false. Or to put it another way, if something changes due to time, it is as good as non-existent because sooner or later it will cease to exist. This is the predicament within this universe. It's temporary, and therefore illusory, and can be seen as a matrix that doesn't really exist. We can learn this by hearing about other universes and comparing ours to others. For that, we can approach the Bhagavad Gita. This area of study requires a rudimentary knowledge of what spirit is and what matter is. Without understanding this preliminary necessity, there is no scope for grasping the essence of Bhagavad Gita. But once this ability to discriminate between spirit and matter is present, then the texts of Bhagavad Gita are very helpful. It is not possible for everyone to understand what the soul is straight off the bat. For some, it takes perseverance and study, and for many there is no interest, so they don't bother. There are many millions who have no idea what a soul is and have no interest in finding out. They are locked into the game of life and won't ever wonder if there is something else. But for those who can understand the soul as amazing, there is scope to quit the matrix and return to reality.